Hello friends. The poem that we are going to study today is entitled The Retreat and is written by the English poet Henry Vaughan. Let us look into the title of the poem, The Retreat. Retreat is to go back. That means travel back in time. And the other meaning of retreat is shelter. So the two meanings have been fused in this poem, which is the poem of longingness for God, longingness for the innocence of childhood. Henry Vaughan is a metaphysical poet, and his dealing with the subject of retreat is very profound. And instead of trying to make a deductive and inductive approach, let us go into the deductive approach. We will first read the poem and then we'll try to understand the suitability of the title and how this poem is categorized as a metaphysical poem. So we begin. Happy those early days when I shined in my angel infancy. So the poet is becoming nostalgic. Nostalgic. Nostalgic means to think very fondly of the past, to think with love, to try to go back to the bygone days. So the poet becomes nostalgic and says, those early days were happy. And then there is the mark of exclamation. He exclaims with a kind of a fused feeling there is of a sadness about the loss of those days and a profound longingness for those happy old days. So he says, happy those early days when I shined in my angel infancy. Infancy is the age from 0 to 5 years. The age where we all believe as soon as a child is born, we come to have a faith that this is God. This is God's creature that has come to visit us with plenty of fulfillment in our lives. So that infancy is the stage when the child is like an angel, unaware of the evils of the world, having a very simple life, a life that is angelic, doing no harm to anyone, and therefore the shine, which is the gift of God to every child. They shine. And he says, when I shined in my angel infancy, before I understood this place appointed for my second race. What is second race? There is a metaphysical association with this term, second race. The two meanings which are associated with the word race is one, moving very fast as though in a sprint. And race also means the species, the class of people. So the second race means the race that the soul performs in the heaven and the race that a soul is with God. A special kind of person. And now when he comes to earth, his second race begins. The worldly race. When we are with God, we have a heavenly race. We compete with heavenly beings. And here on earth, we compete with the earthly beings. And we compete in crime, in badness, in evil ideas, in anger, in hatred, in gluttony, in contempt. So all these things, they are a second race, particular to the earth. And race, the second meaning is the species. When we are with the God and His Son, we are the Holy Spirit. Whereas when we are on earth, we are a human, much less than what one is in heaven. So he says that those days were very happy, in which I shined in my angel infancy. अच्छे दिन थे जब मैं अपनी पवित्र बाल्यावस्था में था और समझ भी नहीं पाया था इस जगह को. He compares the earth with this. He calls it this place. This place is earth, which is appointed. That means fixed for his second race. So we all are here on earth making a race with the other beings with us, by our side. Or taught my soul to fancy aught but a white celestial thought. So before I could teach my soul a fanciful idea. So my childhood days were why they were beautiful, because that time my soul, it was not the body that was having any idea. It was the soul that was experiencing a fancy. And what was the soul experiencing? And what actually it experiences is always a white. White symbolizes purity, innocence, goodness, and heavenliness. So, in my infancy, I always, if ever I fancied, whatever I fancied means made an imagination. So, whatever imagination I had was a white, was a pure, celestial. Celestial related to heaven. So, in my childhood, I always had some kind of heavenly thoughts. When yet I had not walked above a mile or two from my first love. First love is Jesus, God's representative on earth, God. So, first love means either God or Jesus. You can apply both the meanings. So he said that in my infancy, I had not walked even beyond a distance greater than a mile or two from my first love. So these 8 lines are, the poet becomes reminiscent, pondering about the past, thinking about the past. The poet thinks about his past and begins the poem with the word, happy those early days. He says that they were genuinely happy. They were good days when I was an angelic creature. I was in my infancy, and I did not understand this place properly, which was given to me, appointed means given to me for my second earthly race. And my soul had not learnt at all. My soul was not taught by the world anything, but I had my own imagination only of some white, celestial, pure thoughts. And this was because that I had not moved from my God even a mile or two. So, the image of, in these 8 lines, there is the image of man descending from heaven as an infant and coming to earth. So his journey, the second race which he began from the heaven to the world, he compares it and he says that infancy was the time when I had not moved even a mile or two from my first love. First love is God. We all are of God. We all are for God. And we all must forever bear in our mind that we are from God. So, we'll first only understand for today these 8 lines, and let us look into the rhyme scheme of these lines. And I, infancy, you will have to think it as either, if this is I, then infancy. So AA. Place, race. BB. Ought, thought. CC. Above, love, DD. So this poem is composed of 2-line stanzas. AA, BB, CC, DD. That means it is composed of rhyming couplets. Couplets are compositions rhyming in 2 lines. And what is the poem about? The poem is about the retreat. The retreat means, it has not come clear until now. When we have studied further in the poem, maybe then we'll understand. So the poem is only a nostalgic poem. The poet thinks about his angel infancy, his duty to move in the second race, his imagination of all beautiful white and heavenly thoughts, and that infancy was only a time where he had moved only a very short distance from God and Jesus. So what is clear in these 8 lines is that this poem is a dedication to God. This poem is also about the commitment of this body to God. If God is the first love, we must not forget it. Whatever has been the source of your beginning, you should never forget that. This is all for today. We shall continue.